And I do believe we have some time for questions from the
I have a
house.
big one.
All right, you
A
want to?
real big one. I think that covers most of the categories on your list. From the environment to the causes of what the city do. As for the computer, I got a Commodore 64 runs by wood burner. Last year I found out about Facebook. I had calls from Australia, Saudi Arabia, all across Canada, South Carolina, Florida. I think my house is probably the most famous house in Cornerbrook.
Oh,
yeah.
Now, what about accountability? The city came up, they did West Valley Road. They chopped all the sides of the trees, roots on one side of the tree in order to put a manhole on my property for access for weeding tile, which every citizen in Cornerbrook is entitled to. I hit the $200,000 bracket this year in repairs just from the last lot of torture that the city gave me. What would you do to help an individual who's been flooded by the environment, sewer, water, and see what the city did with the trees on my property, and they won't take any responsibility? I can't wait to run for mayor. Seriously. I mean, you're after costing me a fortune, and the city won't take any responsibility. I'm after speaking to just about every councilor. More than half of them won't even come near my property.
Wait, your name, sir?
Clayton Tap.
All right, Trent, you had your hand up. You want to take
Yeah,
that?
Clayton, I've talked to you in the past. And,
Yes, you picked up hitchhikers.
That's right.
When I got it broke down in the woods.
Yeah, broke down in the woods and brought him home and he told me a story. And you know, this stuff is.
I've been through hell and
The
back.
city's famous for this. They just won't take accountability for stuff. It's denied all the time. It's very unreasonable. What happened to this man here should never have happened. And I can guarantee you, if I was on council, I would have made sure that you know, I done my best to make sure that you got compensated for that, because when your insurance company turns your back on you because of something the city done, it's time for the city to step up. And you know, we see this here now. We got a occupational health and safety 5 charges coming against the city here now. You know, for 2 men getting knocked down on the street. And you know, this is the city again not living up to its responsibility. 2 weeks after that, this is interesting. You talk about waste. 2 weeks after that, a union rep. He's also a health and safety officer. He went out to 2 men working without a flagsman. And he told them, he said, guys, he said, you should phone your foreman and make sure that you have a flagsman. That guy, he was a safety rep. That guy was reprimanded and sent home. And he's been a year fighting this. And the city's been sending out lawyers. He was only looking after, it was 2 weeks before that those guys got hit, and he was only looking after the best interests of his men. The city should have took him in and patted him on the back and said, thank you very much. Instead, what they do? Flying lawyers across. There's estimates that this has gone up to about $80,000. This is where we get back to weight. $80,000 trying to punish someone for something when he was just looking out for the best interest of his men. Why? Because he didn't follow proper protocol. He did follow proper protocol, but the city didn't think he did. But when you think someone's in imminent danger and you're a safety officer, you don't turn around and penalize that guy, put him through misery, spend piles of our taxpayers' money trying to reprimand him. They had the right to give the reprimand, and they had the right to take it away. That's what they shouldn't have. This is where accountability comes. This is where your waste come from.
All right,
and I can tell you a dozen stories like that. I could save this place $1 million a year just on this kind of waste here. You know, it is ridiculous, and I feel for you.
Well, it's not only my property and my home. My mother-in-law's up there still injured.
Yeah, that's right.
Would anyone else like to address the question?
well,
I mean, what would you do to help us out? Would
Tara.
you help an individual, any individual, not just
well,
me?
I mean, it comes back to, I mean, I would certainly try to do what I could. I mean, like I said, accountability is key. And, you know, I'd like to say as well, there's no shame in admitting you're wrong. And I've gone through this with the city before regarding water and flooding and things of that sort, and I had to go to the media, and, you know, my basement flooded because of water, and of course they tried to say that it was something to do with the grade of the driveway and the tree and all this stuff. And I honestly don't know where to go, because you put in a complaint, you try to get where you can. I mean, unfortunately what happens is some people are honest and they go to the city and they say, look, I need your help. some people aren't honest and they go to the city and say, you did this, I need your help, when they don't. It's like, you know, with Hurricane Igor in St. John's, there was lots of legitimate claims of flooding, and then there were people who just wanted to get the money, and really nothing had happened. So it's a little bit of that too, and I think there's got to be a lot of research done. I mean, a lot of questions being asked. Unfortunately, you know, I probably asked too many questions, and that's my journalist in me. But some people, I guess it's just like, it's still, you know, the old man's club. To keep your job, keep your mouth shut. And unfortunately, there's probably more of that around than we'd like to admit. And I'd just like to get in there and start uncovering things and doing a lot of investigation. And I mean, I can't tell you that, yes, I would get you the money, but I would certainly try. And
It's
I would
not
certainly,
necessarily the money.
Well, it's
not
the
money.
respect.
I just want a safe home for
Yes.
my family.
yeah, because, yeah,
And,
and
you
we
know,
all do, absolutely.
And you pay your tax and make the best of it. I mean, here I gave all this free publicity on your Facebook, quote, quote. And
You
it
look-
cost me almost $400 because they increased my taxes after the trees went
And you know
through.
what, I bet you a lot of the anger
You know?
would dissipate. You probably didn't even get an apology, did you?
Apology, all I got was from the city manager. He said, come back when you get the seismic study on your land.
Right.
Seismic? Yeah. I mean, when they built the two top houses on Highland Avenue, they backfilled on a bog, raised the water table. Meanwhile, they're flooding everybody else in, all the properties. When Lundergan's built a subdivision up there for Highland Avenue, apparently there was supposed to have been drainage going down between West Valley Road and Highland Avenue.
All right, just to be fair to everybody else, is there anybody else that would like to respond to it very quickly?
Okay.
Alden? Quickly, please.
On reflection on what you're saying, and I can remember going back to
Yeah.
the floods on West Valley Road, remember that. See, the first action that takes place, as you're probably aware, is that, and it's been said here, deny, deny, deny. But I think upon reflection that there should be a process where, okay, you come in, you give your claim. And right away, now that should move forward to a council committee, now not a bunch of bureaucrats, a bunch of councilors who sit down and say, okay, what are the facts, and let's bring it back and review this before we say anything else. Because what's happening is, as soon as the claim comes in, automatically everybody goes, got to pass it to the lawyers, nothing else said, right? And they start running around with lawyers. So, you know, but I think first let's go through a little bit more of an informal process by listening to what the citizen has to say or to complain in an informal manner, and then take notes and work from there. If you decide then to go to the lawyers, okay, but at least everybody's had their chance to speak and formulate some kind of idea about where we are and where we're going.
Thank you, Alden. Anyone else? Very quickly? June?
Quickly, I'd say obviously we can't comment on the details of your particular case because we don't have access to all the information. But I would say that this is an instance where we need to have a committee or a department like an ombudsman or ombudsperson who deals with arbitration or appeals. And I think that's what's missing in our city. With every organization, there's always going to be a decision made, and people may be in favor or not in favor, but at least we need to have another level of appeal or arbitration for reconsideration or an alternative course of action for the citizens, for the community.
Thank you, June. Anyone else?
Yeah, with regards to appeals, you know, we
Very quickly, Trent.
pay for a board here, we pay for an appeal board here, and it costs, you know, we have to pay for a clerk and everything else for this appeal board. And you know, we get to choose, the city gets to choose the appeal board, and you know, you're relying on council who have chosen a non-biased appeal board. But the reality is, we could use a regional appeal board from municipal affairs that's absolutely free. Why are we paying for something that we can get for free? It doesn't make sense. And besides, these regional boards, they deal with a lot more cases. The city may deal with 2 or 3 appeals a year, these appeal boards. These regional boards deal with hundreds. They got all kinds of expertise. They don't need to be going out to lawyers to reference things. They got all the expertise, and then the citizen, when they're going, they don't feel like they're being biased. The appeal board is not chosen by council. and you're getting a fair appeal, let them decide. Why are we paying for something that we should be getting for free? Again, that's waste, right? I keep going, waste.
Time for one more question, Tom?